Imagine finding natural ways to sharpen your mind a bit. Maybe reduce stress, potentially even protect your brain. What if ancient traditions held some real clues?
And now modern science is actually starting to explore them. It's a powerful idea, isn't it? Connecting these old practices with new research.
Absolutely. Today, we're doing a deep dive into two substances getting a lot of buzz. Ashwagandha, that ancient root, and lion's mane, a really interesting mushroom.
We've gone through the sources, provided studies, articles, expert opinions.
And our mission here is to pull out what's key about their benefits, their history, what the science is finding, and importantly, what it all means for you.
Okay, let's start with what makes them distinct. The sources point to ashwagandha coming straight from Ayurvedic tradition. It's known mostly as an adaptogen.
Meaning it helps your body cope with stress.
Exactly. Research suggests benefits like easing anxiety, improving mood, maybe helping with sleep, physical performance, even balancing hormones.
And the sources suggest how it might do that. Something about cortisol.
Yes, potentially, by helping regulate cortisol, that main stress hormone, and perhaps modulating neurotransmitters. Things like GABA and serotonin, which are linked to feeling calm.
So it kind of helps quiet things down internally.
That's a good way to put it. Now, contrast that with lion's mane. Totally different. It's a fungus, a mushroom.
Right.
And while it might have some adaptogenic qualities too, its main reputation, based on the sources, is around cognitive health.
Boosting memory, focus, attention.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Precisely. And what seems unique are compounds called hericenones and erinacines.
Okay.
These are thought to stimulate something called nerve growth factor, NGF. People often describe it simply as, well, fertilizer for your neurons.
Fertilizer for neurons. I like that. So promoting nerve cell growth and repair.
That's the idea, which is why there's interest in its potential for neurodegenerative conditions.
So simplifying. Ashwagandha leaning towards stress and balance. Lion's mane towards brain structure and function.
That's the general picture from the sources, yes. Though both seem to offer those broader benefits too, antioxidant effects, anti-inflammatory properties, maybe immune support.
But different primary lanes. Let's shift to history then, especially lion's mane. The sources trace it back centuries in Eastern Asia.
Hundreds of years. Used both as food and significantly as medicine.
What kind of medicine?
In traditional Chinese medicine, it was apparently used for digestive health, strengthening the spleen, nourishing the gut, even for muscle issues.
Interesting.
But what's really fascinating is how they also viewed it as medicine for the mind. Ancient practitioners connected gut health to mental clarity, using it for cognitive function too.
So they had an intuition about that brain connection way back then.
It seems so. Which brings us nicely to modern science trying to figure out the how.
Right, connecting that ancient wisdom to current research. You mentioned those compounds, hericenones and erinacines, and NGF stimulation.
That's the main focus, understanding if and how they encourage brain cells to grow and connect.
And what are the studies actually showing? I saw mentions of animal studies looking quite promising.
They do. Increased nerve growth, improved memory in animals, reduced inflammation. The typical positive signals you see in early research.
But the crucial question, does it translate to humans?
Well, that's where the picture gets a bit more, let's say, complex. The human trials mentioned in your sources, mostly out of Japan, show pretty mixed results.
Mixed how?
One early study on mild cognitive impairment suggested some improvement, but experts called the data, I think the term used was fuzzy, concerns about the study design.
Okay, so not definitive.
No. And another study showed basically no difference compared to a placebo. Then there was a longer Alzheimer's trial. It showed some positive trends early on, but overall no significant difference in cognitive function versus the control group by the end.
So the human evidence is still quite early stage, maybe a bit uncertain.
That sums it up well. Experts highlighted in the sources point to the limited data, questions about study quality, inconsistent dosages used.
And a really key point, do those active compounds even effectively cross the blood-brain barrier when you just eat the mushroom or take a supplement?
That's a major question still being investigated. Plus, there's the whole issue of supplement quality itself.
Ah, yes, consistency and purity. Groups like Consumer Lab apparently raised concerns.
They did. About whether products contain what they claim, the purity, and even which part of the mushroom is used.
Part of the mushroom.
Yeah, there's debate. Some researchers, like Paul Stamets, suggest the mycelium, the root structure, might be better for neurogenesis. Others say the fruiting body, the part you typically see, is higher in things like beta-glucans, which are linked more to immune and gut health.
So getting a reliable product is critical.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the product, but how it's used. One expert approach mentioned from a Dr. Legrand suggested using ashwagandha first if high stress or cortisol is the main issue.
Maybe even testing cortisol levels first.
Right. And then maybe considering lion's mane as an add-on specifically for cognitive support once that stress foundation is addressed.
That perspective makes sense. These aren't cure-alls, but potential tools used thoughtfully.
Exactly. It underlines considering the individual's whole health picture.
So let's try to tie this together. What does this deep dive mean for you, the listener?
Well, lion's mane shows definite promise for cognitive support, and it's fascinating how that links back to its ancient uses. But the modern human research, it's still early days. It needs more robust, consistent evidence.
And ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha seems to have a somewhat clearer path, with stronger traditional use cases for stress and anxiety, and some encouraging, though still developing, modern research supporting that.
So ancient wisdom is definitely sparking scientific interest, but we're still figuring out the exact how and how much for reliable effects. Potential is there, but caution is needed.
Especially regarding where you get your supplements and managing expectations based on current science. It's an evolving field where old knowledge meets new investigation.
Which leaves us with a thought. Could these ancient remedies, used for centuries and now under the scientific lens, offer genuinely powerful ways to support your brain and body today? Or is the science just not quite there yet to say for sure? What part of this exploration stands out most to you?